Hello, my name is Tiffany C. Wright, and today I'm here to talk to you about friends as business partners. Steps to take to ensure an ongoing successful relationship. Beware. This is not to say that friends cannot be good business partners, because they can, and they often are, and friends can make extremely good business partners because it's founded on mutual trust and respect. However, friends who do make very good business partners typically start out by writing everything down. They write down their business concept, they write down who's going to do what, they write down what they would do in the event of a breakup, all these types of things. So that's what we're here to discuss today, how to make sure you maintain your friendship throughout the lifetime of your business. Oftentimes the relationship is great at first, sometimes for a number of years, but inevitably problems occur, and it's how you address those problems that determine whether or not the friendship remains. What if a friend, one of the business partners, dies or becomes permanently disabled? What if one wants to spend less time with the business and the other one wants to go full blast? What about disagreements over strategy or finances? All of these can derail the friendship and the business. Now, age doesn't matter, and I say this because I saw similar issues while working at an M&A boutique while I was getting my MBA at Wharton, as I did when I worked as a resident advisor while getting my undergraduate degree at The Ohio State University. And I'm quite sure that these issues are similar throughout any university, that is the roommate contract issues, throughout any university in the United States. It wasn't just Ohio State. Perhaps it's similar to other universities in other countries. Friends did not want to sign roommate contracts. The people who didn't know each other would, no problem. But they said, hey, we know each other, we understand each other, we trust one another. We don't need to sign anything. We don't need to write anything down. I said, no, no, no. I know from past experience that when you don't sign, when you don't get how you will treat each other down in writing, you tend to take each other for granted. Friends take each other for granted. They know each other well, and so they would take liberties that they wouldn't take with strangers. They would borrow things and not return them, have people over at all hours of the day or night. And people would not do that to roommates whom they had never met before that year. And the same goes with people who had companies together. We would value breakups, and some of these companies, the partners would have been together, and I use the term partners loosely because these were not partnerships, they were LLCs and corporations. But they had been together for 10, 15, 20 years, and they hadn't had a lot of stuff in writing, and as a result, their disagreements just bred continual resentment, and that resentment built over time and ruined their relationship and took the company with them. And in every single case where we had to value a company because the partners were breaking up the company and going their separate ways or trying to sell the company in order to get away from one another, in every single case, they did not have a clearly defined buy, sell, or shareholders agreement. They had not sat down and written down their roles and responsibilities. They had done none of that, and it came back to bite them. Put it in writing. I cannot emphasize that enough. It's amazing how two people in the same conversation can have completely different perceptions and interpretations of what was said. But if you write down, if you document what it is you said, then you're both completely on the same page. And just to let you know, that's why companies create meeting notes, so that everyone comes out of the meeting with the same understanding. There's no gray area. So sit down with your friend before you go into business or as you're going into business and document your discussions and the terms that you agree upon. Then everyone will be on the same page. The first step is to create a buy-sell agreement or shareholders agreement. This is absolutely crucial. I cannot stress this enough. This is crucial. Sitting down to create a buy-sell agreement is kind of like going through premarital counseling before you get married. You address issues and concerns that as friends you would never ever consider. And as people going into business, you are optimistic. You're thinking about all the great things that can happen. You're not thinking about all the bad things that could happen or the poor timing of certain events in one's life. So sit down and discuss this. You'll think about what to do in the event of a breakup. Say you want to sell, but the other person wants to continue with the business. What happens in the event of a death? You don't want the person's spouse, children, aunt, uncle, parents, friends, whomever running the business, whoever is running that estate now taking part in the business, so you have to clearly delineate what happens in the event of a death. What happens if an offer to purchase comes from out of the blue? You want to sell, but your friend doesn't want to sell. If you put it in writing, you can say, okay, if someone wants to buy, then, and I'm not ready to sell, then the company will buy back and we'll get 2 different appraisals on the business and take the median price, whatever. It doesn't matter exactly how you determine what the price will be. What matters is that you jointly come to an agreement as to how you would value the company in the event of a breakup or needing to sell. All these things are very critical because, again, different life events happen at different times. You may be in a different space or place 15 years from now. You may need to pull money out of the company to pay for your children's college education, and your friend doesn't want to. The friend wants to continue channeling all the money into the company to prepare it for whatever. So these are just different things to sit down and talk about, and it will help you, once you get it in writing, to address conflicts as they arise. This process will help train you to work through conflicts in the future, and also if 5 years down the road you have a disagreement, or 10 years down the road you want to buy, you can go back to this agreement and say, or you want to sell, someone else wants to buy, excuse me, then go back to this buy-sell agreement or shareholders agreement and just follow what it says in that agreement. Next step is to clearly delineate who is in charge. Who is in charge? Who has the highest overall authority in the company? Is this a 50-50 agreement? I mean, a 50-50% ownership and control situation? Now, I never, ever, ever advocate that, because 2 people will never be on the exact same page at the exact same time. Somebody has to make the final decision in the event of an ongoing disagreement. There will come times when you just both cannot agree. So somebody has to concede. This, determining who's in charge or who's in charge of what, determines who will concede when. So it may be me. I have 51% ownership of the company. So in the event that we cannot come to a decision, I make the final decision. Or we could clearly outline different responsibilities. I'm a finance and strategy and ops person. You're a sales and marketing and customer service person. So if anything has to do with finance, strategy, or operations, I have the final decision. And if anything else has to do with has to do with sales, marketing, or customer service, you make the final decision. So if we're going back and forth and we can't come to a decision, and it's sales and marketing, that's your decision, and I abide by it. But if we don't have that clearly written down and clearly delineated, then we could just keep having arguments all the time. And these arguments are highly inefficient, and it's just impossible to have 2 decision makers, or 3 or 4, depending on how many people are involved in the company, at all times. Occasionally someone will have to be the primary decision maker. So just delineate who and under what circumstances. Okay, and now for the relationship portion of it. Just when you're outside of the company, limit your business discussions. Create a safe area where you don't discuss business. Now, that doesn't actually have to be a place like we need to go into the den of my house in order to not discuss business. But the safe area, it could be, after 8 o'clock p.m. on any given day, we don't discuss business. Or on the weekends, when we're together with the family, we don't discuss business. Or if we go see a movie together, we don't discuss business. Whatever works for you, because everyone is different, that's your safe area or your safe time. You need to maintain your friendly activities and your socializing and so on with no business discussed. That's how you're able to separate one another from the business and not transfer all the issues and stress related to the business to your friend all the time. For instance, if the business is having some issues, whatever it is, you're growing rapidly and just too much going on, or perhaps you're having financial troubles, you want to be able to enjoy your friend without seeing the business whenever you look at that person. So by doing these things and socializing together and enjoying one another's company outside of business, you continue to foster and develop that relationship. Now, to get started, you can purchase my book, Solving the Capital Equation, Financing Solutions for Small Businesses, from Amazon. And in this book, I take a top-down strategic viewpoint. I address the why, the where, the how to access funding depending on where your company is in terms of its growth, what industry that the company is in, what issues the companies are facing, and I provide, I think 25 different case studies and a number of different examples. I wrote it when I was advising a number of different clients, and people kept asking me the same questions. So I finally started writing down my answers, and so this book is written the same way that I'm speaking to you now. Thank you very much, and if you want to see more, please follow my blog at www.theresourcefulceo.com. You can comment or you can send me suggestions and so on about content, or you can use the contact form on the site to solicit information or whatever you may need from me. But thank you very much for listening, and I wish you much luck and success.